Hey everyone, welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosting Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BxRx TV and like us on Facebook at Open BxRx Television. And of course, while you're there, follow moi on FB, Twitter, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. Our first guest has been redefining fitness and wellness in America with her inclusive yoga for the past over 22 years. And through her company, Yoga Fit Training System, she's been able to train more than 200,000 fitness instructors. She's been featured in numerous fitness magazines, including Oprah's O Magazine, Time, and Glamour. That's just to name a few. And today she joins us to discuss her latest book, Healing Trauma with Yoga, which offers a deep understanding of the physiological, psychological, and emotional changes brought on by trauma and depression, while offering healing techniques to survive and thrive through these conditions. Joining us to tell us more, please welcome author Beth Shaw. Welcome.
Thanks, Rhina. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. This is your fourth book in the making.
Yes.
And the title is quite, it's very profound and quite appropriate during this particular time that we've all been enduring. So in your yoga practice and in the development of your style, can you just share with us, I guess, what inspired you to even go in this direction and how it found you and you found it to make a living out of it?
Well, it definitely found me. I taught myself how to do guided meditation and imagery at age 6 because I suffer from horrible migraine headaches. And unfortunately, I grew up in a family where no one was very invested in what was going on with me. So I would get these migraines. I started doing guided imagery, picturing myself on a beach or in a forest, and was able to cure myself of the migraines using guided imagery. I started doing yoga poses as a child. I didn't really know what they were, but I did them. I've been working out in health clubs since age 15. And then one day in college when I was stretching, I got an insight that I would be very successful in the health and fitness industry. So I moved to California from New York City right after college. I started practicing formal yoga. The name Yoga Fit came to me on a bike ride. I trademarked it. One of my students was an investment guy who was also Chinese and into Tai Chi. He helped me raise some angel funding. We incorporated as a school in 1997, and I've been doing Yoga Fit ever since.
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for that real quick summarized version of the trajectory. And so Yoga Fit, let's talk about that title itself. Is it strictly yoga or is it fused with other techniques inside of it? Because I watched one of your videos and I noticed that there was music attached to the actual stretching, and usually yoga's kind of more on the quiet and meditation side. So can you just give us a little insight?
Well, the Yoga Fit style in and of itself mirrors the group exercise model of warm up, work, and cool down. So it's very smooth and very fluid. Can be done with music, without music. As a school now, we have over 75 different educational programs, everything from trauma-based yoga programs to a lot of children's programs, yoga as healthcare, yoga as therapy, a lot of mental wellness programs we're doing now, mental wellness webinars, working with corporations and schools. So we really run the gamut of yoga, meditation, mindfulness, Ayurveda, sound healing, really anything to do with mind-body health.
And so this book, your latest book, Healing Trauma with Yoga, you shared something personal in your upbringing that just basically could be the case with someone who may be watching with regards to not being addressed or paid attention to with whatever they may be going through. And I want to say more toward, I'm gearing this more towards the next generation because they've had to do a lot and endure a lot with this virtual learning and the social distancing, and not even, they already have enough pressure growing, and then to have this on top of it, like what would you, is this a book that they would be able to read?
Yeah, this is a very simple, user-friendly book that anybody who can read can read. There are a lot of practical solutions in there, easy tips, and things that people can implement into their own lives, whether they're 7 years old or 70, to just feel better every day.
And so let's just talk about how people usually reach out to someone to help them. And the fact that you actually encourage people to learn how to take their own health into their own hands. Let's just talk about why that's so important.
Well, look, at the end of the day, we're all responsible for our own health, physically and mentally. And oftentimes, like with physical health, by the time people go to a doctor, they're pretty sick. So my mission in life really is to empower individuals to take their health into their own hands. And my job is to give them as many tools as possible for them to do that.
And so we're talking about preventative medicine, right? Because
Yeah.
medicine doesn't necessarily come in the form of pharmaceuticals. This is Eastern medicine. And so what could people do just on simply, on a simplified level to initiate that dialogue between mind and body?
They can start with just some easy body awareness techniques like lying down for 10 minutes and doing a body scan and noticing how their bodies feel from the soles of their feet to the crown of their head, noticing where they might feel tension or anxiety in their body, breathing into those areas, doing some deep breath work to do some releasing. Something as simple as making your exhalations twice as long as your inhalations can take you from your sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight, into rest and digest, which is your parasympathetic nervous system. So we can calm our minds down just by doing a simple breathing technique of exhaling double the amount that you would inhale.
And so that's a fascinating point you just made with regards to the breath, right? Because now we're talking about breath work, and then scanning where things may be, where the ailments lie in your body. And so how is one able to associate it with trauma, which is what your book is about?
Well, when we experience a traumatic event, we store that trauma in our physical body. They say the issues are in our tissues. So in our bodies, we store the trauma, and we have some very simple releasing techniques in the book that will release trauma from your body without you even having to talk about it. We work a lot with the vagus nerve and releasing the vagus nerve. Again, there's one specific exercise, and I had a friend growing up in New York City. She was a war correspondent in Iraq, had a lot of trauma, and then her brother, who was my first boyfriend, coincidentally, died of a widowmaker heart attack. She had to raise his kids. She had a tremendous amount of trauma. I took her to one of our Yoga Fit Warriors trainings. She was able to get off her medication within a couple of weeks. So, it works.
Okay, so the medication you're talking about, I'm going to assume is medication she was taking for PTSD?
For anxiety, yes.
For anxiety, right? So anxiety, and usually anxiety comes from like trauma, right?
Yeah.
Or something that's
Yeah.
stored in your body, which is the conversation we're having. I just want clarity, and I want them to understand, because again, during May, which May is the Mental Health Awareness Month, we had a lot of psychologists on air, and they were sharing how there's so many levels of anxiety in which all of us are dealing with right now in some form or another, that we're all on the spectrum. And so this kind of work is actually just coming to terms with what you can do to be preventative or take initiative and just not allowing it to expand and become any worse.
Yeah, I think the key, Rhina, is to really recognize that it's there, acknowledge its existence, know that it will pass, but know that it's going to pass quicker if you take proactive action to make it pass. I've struggled with depression my entire life. Yesterday was a bad day. I just sat with it. I said, tomorrow's probably going to be different. But I also went to the gym. I did some yoga. I stood on my head. I did a little bit of meditation,
Yeah, no, it's great that you're sharing it on that level, because just in the trauma and the poses and the being with self and that quiet time and just really taking matters into your own hand from this perspective of establishing a relationship with yourself,
Yeah, that relationship with the self is the most profound relationship that we'll ever have.
And so what would you like to leave people with before we go?
I would like to leave them with that dealing with anxiety and dealing with depression are two different animals. Depression is usually focused on the past, whereas in anxiety, we're focused on the future. If we can try to stay in the present moment best as possible and take some action around what we're feeling, we can heal ourselves because our health is our most valuable asset on every level.
Beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much for that mindful advice, Beth Shaw. And you guys, once again, for Beth Shaw's Healing Trauma with Yoga, it is available on Amazon. And for more on Yoga Fit, you can visit bethshaw.com. All right, don't go anywhere. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to learn about a program the LGBTQ Center is doing to help those dealing with trauma. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.